Hoaxes are us, mainstream media and false accusers.
Hoaxes, hoaxes, and hoaxes. So we're going to talk about it a little bit today. And, before we start, Janice Fiamengo did a great piece on her No Joke Janice. I think it's number 17. It's on the Smollett thing. And she talks about the idea that America has typically had a compassionate heart for people in trouble, and also has had a willingness to self-criticize. And she talks about how those two together, maybe we're going a little bit too far with both. Have a listen to it. I'll link it in the low bar because it's well worth watching. But let's take a different approach on the hoaxes thing, because I think we need to look at the definition of hoaxes, because, a hoax just sounds too innocent to me for what it is. I mean, it's really evil. And a hoax just sounds too innocent. What is a hoax? It's a false accusation. It's as simple as that. I think we need to think of hoaxes in terms of false accusation. And what does it take to falsely accuse? Well, it takes lies that are intentional and vicious and intended to hurt something or gain something for someone. That's a mess. And I think that's more the truth. I mean, the false accusation thing is lethal. Oh, how many times have we heard this thing about, false accusations are bad because they keep real victims from coming forth. Yeah, maybe that's true to a degree. But the thing it's completely missing is the false accusations really hurt the person who's falsely accused. Let me tell you something. You have no idea what it's like to be falsely accused until it happens to you. When it happens to you, then you get it. Then you realize, oh my gosh, this is a terrible thing to have happen. Very, very difficult. You can't disprove a false accusation so easy. And you walk around with this heavy weight of being accused. It's a mess. It's really difficult. And it's really evil, that someone would intentionally falsely accuse someone else. I mean, that's just, oh well. So why do people make false accusations? The Canon research and others have kind of boiled it down to three basics. One is to get more attention, and maybe that's a part of what's going on with hoaxes. Maybe, I'm not convinced it's a great part, but maybe that's a part of it. Another is to create an alibi, but no, hoaxes, you don't need an alibi, you wouldn't think. But the last one is revenge. And yeah, I think that's closer. I think a lot of these are revenge-oriented. They're trying to get at some group or some person. They're trying to blame someone else. The guy that burns his own house down, right? And he blames this group. He's so pissed off with this group that he burns his own house. Or people who write graffiti on their car, and then blame other people for doing that. I mean, this is... it's getting back at people. It's revenge. But I think we need to think about maybe a fourth category here. And that fourth category has to do with victim status. I think that, that some of these hoaxes, maybe the biggest motivation is to increase one's victim status through lies and through pointing the finger at hated groups. Because if you can point the finger at hated groups, who's going to lap it up? The media. They're going to lap it right up. I mean, just think what happened with the Rolling Stone stuff, the Duke Lacrosse thing, what was her name, Tawana Braley. I mean, over and over and over and over again, these lies would come forth, right? Lies. And people would be, it looks like they're trying to create more victim status for themselves, and the media plays along. The media goes right along with them with their Mobius strip reporting. They only tell you one side. They don't wait for the facts to come in. Man, I can remember when I was a little guy, 10 years old, 12 years old, the media would tell both sides. They would interview one person with this side and interview another person with another side, and then say, well, we'll have to wait until all the facts come in, but this is the story as of now. Wow. So you literally got a balanced viewpoint of what might be happening one way or the other. You don't get that anymore. No, you don't get that anymore. What you do get is a tag team. A tag team of liars and false accusers and the media. working together to create a narrative. The problem is that even if it's disproven later, rarely do the media come back and apologize and go, oh, well, we made a mistake. And even if they do come back and say they made a mistake, still the thing people remember is that initial burst. And you do that over and over and over again, and the narrative becomes solidified in people's minds. We're living in a time when we don't have news reporting anymore. We've got basically propaganda, where it's just pushing one side of issues, and people know this. The false accusers know this, and they use the media. The media uses them. It's a tag team. And basically, as far as I'm concerned, the media are bullies. When they get some little hoax going on, they just pile on and on and on and on. They're bullies. They just keep hitting with this one side of things. It's what sociologists call mobbing. You ever heard of mobbing? Mobbing, the definition is sociological term means bullying an individual by a group in any context, such as family, peer group, school, workplace, neighborhood, community, or online. In other words, mobbing is when all these media groups come together and just start hammering away at someone. This is evil. This is just crazy, and it's pushing a narrative. And who's going to stop them? Who's going to step forward and say, stop this? There's only one person yet who's been able to step forward and say, this is wrong. That's Donald Trump, bless his heart. Says, look, you're fake news. Indeed. So, we need to have real news again, not fake news. Because the bottom line is that this fake news hurts a lot of people. And it hurts a lot of men in particular. And we all know that men are good, as are you. Come see me on Subscribestar. I've got a new site working now on Subscribestar for those folks who couldn't stand the Patreon stuff and said, to heck with that. Come on and see me on Subscribestar. It's the same thing, except it's different. So come and check out what we're doing. It's pretty interesting. So like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And men are good.